end of the school strike that began on September the 1st was announced at a press conference on September the 27th. A Thanksgiving Mass was celebrated on Saturday, September the 26th, for the 60th anniversary of the Hebrew-speaking Catholic communities. On the feast day of Saint Jerome, we remember his dedication to the translation of the Holy Scriptures and his devotion to making them accessible to all people. A pilgrimage to the Holy Land from Belarus and a special visit to the holy sites in Ein Karem. At Emmaus-Al-Quobeibeh, Franciscans and others commemorate Saint Simeon and Cleophas, the disciples to whom Jesus appeared after his resurrection. On September the 26th, a fire destroyed the old wing of St. Charbel Maronite Monastery in Bethlehem. Police sources confirm it was an arson attack. Christian school students are finally back at their desks after the announcement of the end of the strike, an achievement that gives everyone great satisfaction. It's nice to go back to school. It's been a long time, almost a month. Everyone is excited to go back to school.
It is a nice feeling to finally be back in school. At home I had my daily routine, but I rather be in school.
It was chaos and confusion at home, not knowing when we would be able to go back to school. However, the committee played an important role in the process of securing our rights and contributing to the school growth and budget.
It is a nice feeling to be back, because this is our last year in this school and we really missed our classmates.
A press conference was held on September the 27th, during which the General Secretariat of the Christian schools announced the end of the strike that began at the beginning of the school year. His Excellence Monsignor Giacinto Boulos Marcuzzo, Patriarchal Vicar for Israel, stressed the importance of combining the efforts of all parties in attaining this successful outcome for Christian schools. My best wishes to you. Let me invite you to give a big round of applause to the schools and students, to their parents and to the whole of society. This grateful applause is a recognition of the schools. This has been a great accomplishment. Congratulations. This is a historic achievement, and I want to thank everyone.
مبروك وألف مبروك فعلا. هذا الإنجاز تاريخي وأنا أشكر الجميع.
تفعيل دورات استكمال لمعلمين في مدارسنا.
Father Abdel Masih, General Director of the Office of Catholic Schools in Israel, then read a statement that explains the terms of the agreement, which included, among many points, the payment of 50 million shekels for the school year 2015 to 2016 by March 2016, as well as the creation of a special committee aimed at evaluating changes in the legal status of the schools, now regarded as recognized but not public.
من وزارة التعليم.
I believe that we achieved great results. It was a difficult but beautiful phase, as a result of which we were able to obtain financial help, a substantial amount of money that will help us to pay off debts and reduce school fees.
We had great confidence in the members of the Committee of the General Secretariat and they have made a great effort. We also know that if they could have gotten a better deal, they would have obtained it. This is what they could attain and we are very grateful. We hope to get more and better results in the future.
Within walking distance of Jerusalem, on the road leading to Tel Aviv, there is a small oasis of peace surrounded by flowers, palms and pine trees. On September the 26th, colors and joy filled the monastery of Our Lady of the Ark of the Covenant, where everyone gathered to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the Hebrew-speaking Catholic communities. through which the Ark of the Covenant passed, according to the Old Testament. More than 600 people from the various communities scattered across the country, known in Hebrew as KEHILLOT, gathered to attend Mass, presided by the Apostolic Nuncio, together with the Bishop of Nazareth, Monsignor Giacinto Marcuzzo, Bishop Emeritus, Monsignor Kamal Batish, Father David Neuhaus, Latin Patriarchal Vicar for Hebrew-speaking Catholics in Jerusalem, as well as the Custos of the Holy Land and many other priests. Well, this is an important moment, even in my personal life. I worked for 10 years in this area. I left long ago, but seeing how the Hebrew-speaking community has grown in every way through the years gives me satisfaction and great joy.
Nella comunione con tutta la Chiesa è una grande soddisfazione e una grande consolazione.
In his homily, the Apostolic Nuncio underlined the challenges that the Vicariate is facing in a mission which he described as beautiful but demanding. In particular, he stressed the importance of living in the heart of the Church and society in order to be able to become instruments of love and peace.
È un bellissimo giorno di festa, ma non solo perché
This is a beautiful day of celebration, not only because it is a holiday that we are celebrating together, but especially because we are all witnesses of the truthfulness of the Word of God. Jesus said that His Word, the Word of God, is like a small seed that is thrown into fertile soil.
la parola del Signore. Ci ha detto Gesù che la sua parola, la parola di Dio, è come una piccola semente che viene gettata nel terreno fertile. Ecco, io credo che oggi possiamo dire che questa comunità.
I believe that today we can say that this Hebrew-speaking community is precisely the seed that was thrown 60 years ago, and that has grown, and it is already producing strong branches on which people can find rest. Rest for the spirit, rest for the soul, which is the joy of meeting God.
Possono venire a trovare il riposo dello spirito, il riposo dell'anima, cioè la gioia di incontrare Dio.
A significant milestone and a very special wish, a day to remember.
Ecco, io credo che questa è una realtà che ha davanti a sé.
I believe there is hope for a brighter and better future here. We give our best wishes to those who are working hard and to those who are devoting themselves to this baby, who now has strong legs and is finally able to walk. Best wishes for a long journey that will bring more and more people together.
Faccia una lunga strada e strada facendo raccolga sempre più persone.
Today, the Bible is the most widely read and translated book in the world and can be found in many languages.
في البدء كان الكلمة والكلمة كان لدى الله والكلمة هو الله.
Egli era in principio presso Dio, tutto è stato fatto per mezzo di Lui, e senza di Lui niente è stato fatto di tutto ciò che esiste.
Nela estava a vida, e a vida era a luz dos homens.
The Word became flesh. He lived among us.
We have come a very long way in making the scriptures accessible in all languages, a situation that owes a lot to Saint Jerome. As philosopher, theologian, historian, and doctor in the interpretation of the scriptures, St. Jerome was responsible for the first translation of the original Hebrew and Greek texts into Latin, which was the language spoken by the people at that time. Consequently, his translation was called the Vulgate, which means popular.
E lui chiamava questa operazione.
St. Jerome called this process the return to the Jewish truth, which was the truth of the original texts.
Del testo originale.
Pope Damasus learned about Jerome's knowledge of the Word of God and his clear-mindedness, so he decided to entrust him with a translation of the four Gospels faithfully into Latin. Jerome completed the translation of the Gospels from the Greek text and also a version of the Psalms in Rome.
Papa Damaso, lui andava molto d'accordo, ma con la morte di Papa Damaso egli decise di...
Jerome used to get along well with Pope Damasus, so he decided to leave Rome after the Pope's death. There were some women who had been praying and studying the Bible with him in order to understand it better. They were led by a Roman noblewoman called Paula, accompanied by her daughter Eustacia and by another Roman noblewoman called Marcella, and some of these women decided to follow Jerome.
Con lei c'era anche sua figlia, Eustochio, e altre nobili romane come Marcella, e alcune di loro decisero di seguire Girolamo.
After he left Rome, Jerome traveled to the Holy Land. He visited the holy places in order to have a better understanding of the scriptures, but then decided to settle in Bethlehem. It was in this cave that he devoted himself to the work of translation, here in the Basilica of the Nativity, near the site where Jesus was born.
Dunque Girolamo visse per più di 40 anni a Betlemme.
St. Jerome lived in Bethlehem for 40 years, and during that time he wrote several commentaries on the Bible. His letters are also very famous. It was here that he completed the translation of the entire Old Testament from Hebrew.
Di tutto l'Antico Testamento dalla lingua ebraica.
The cave is visited by pilgrims from all over the world who are enchanted by the history of this place.
I'm very excited to be here in Saint Jerome's site. He had the wisdom and the intelligence to translate the Bible and to lay out the grace of God for all of us.
La Biblia y dar la gracia de Dios a todos nosotros.
Es una grandeza infinita y yo.
It is infinitely great, and I want to learn it like he did. I want to pass it on to my children, my grandchildren, and truly serve the Lord.
Quiero realmente ser útil al Señor.
Died at the age of 80 on September the 30th in the year 420 AD, and became the patron of those who are dedicated to the study of the Scriptures. He left a priceless legacy to Christianity and also a passionate example of the study of the Word of God, dedicating his life to help others possess the same knowledge. Indicating how important it is to know the sacred texts, St. Jerome wrote, "Those who ignore the Scriptures are ignoring the power and wisdom of God. Therefore he who ignores the Holy Scriptures ignores Christ." The national pilgrimage of the Diocese of Belarus to the hills of Ein Karem. Their faith and love enriched the atmosphere of peace and silence.
It is the second national pilgrimage, and the aim of this pilgrimage not only to see, to know better for our faithful the Holy Land, these events from the Gospel, from the Old Testament and so on, from history of Jesus' life and so on, but to bless two plaques, Magnificat and Benedictus.
These two important shrines changed the story of salvation, those of St. John the Baptist and the Visitation. As the Archbishop of Minsk pointed out in his interview, the Virgin Mary was exalted by God because of her humility and faith. She was protected by God's hand. This is the key to understand Mary and the story of salvation. The key to salvation is in every man. As happened with Zachariah, Elizabeth and Mary, all men and women can receive God's visitation. The pilgrims carried emotions and feelings that they will take back home with them.
It is not described by word. It is cry. It's my heart is bigger and belong to my God. Cannot describe by word. It must to be feel. I feel to share my emotion and my feel to and my belief in God to my family in first and my colleague in my small company and each other to people which I meet in my life.
After the solemn celebration, the prayers of the pilgrims resounded throughout the town as they made a procession towards the place of the precursor's birth. Palestinian town of Emmaus-Al-Quobeibeh is the site of an important event narrated in the Gospel of Luke. According to Franciscan tradition, this is the place where Jesus appeared to 2 disciples after his resurrection. Like many followers of Jesus at that time, Simeon and Cleophas were frustrated because they expected Jesus to deliver Israel politically. And while they were talking about this, Jesus appeared to them and began to explain the scriptures for them. A Mass to commemorate these 2 saints was celebrated by the Franciscan community and the Christians of the Holy Land in this basilica dedicated to the apparition of Jesus. The vicar of the custody of the Holy Land presided and spoke about the experience of the disciples revealed to us in the present day.
Anche noi abbiamo bisogno della conversione.
We too need conversion. We need conversion from sin, conversion from sadness, conversion from disillusionment, from loneliness and suffering. We need to be converted to joy, to the joy of the risen Jesus, the joy of a renewed life in the risen Lord.
Nuova rinnovata dal Gesù risorto.
The basilica dedicated to Saint Simeon and Cleophas has a challenging mission in the town of Emmaus-Al-Quobeibeh.
L'importanza di questa chiesa qui
The importance of the church in this place is to ensure the presence of Christ. This is the only church in the town.
E nonostante che questa è la chiesa, l'unica chiesa qui ad Emmaus-Al-Quobeibeh,
and therefore our presence here is a result of its conservation.
Qui mantenere questa chiesa che è molto importante di essere qua.
In this Muslim town, this is the only Christian family.
We are living here and we are happy to be here as one Christian family because it is a holy place and we are with Jesus and Jesus will help us all the time.
Jesus' disciples received help and support from him when he revealed himself to them, beginning with the bread. He made them witnesses of the resurrection.
In this place, we learn how the companionship of Christ is important in our life, and that to go to Christ, we need his companionship every day.
On September the 26th, a fire destroyed the old wing of St. Charbel Maronite Monastery in Bethlehem, causing serious damage to its structure. The building, which was being renovated, suffered extensive damage. The fire was an act of arson, according to preliminary investigations and to the statement released by the police authority and by the Chancellor of the Maronite Patriarchate in Jerusalem, Deacon Subhi Makul. St. Charbel Monastery is located in the Bethlehem suburb of Wadi Mali, in an area inhabited by Christian and Muslim families. The structure includes several rooms and a small chapel for prayer. The fire started in the basement and then spread to other areas of the building.
Terra Santa News is a production of the Christian Media Center in Jerusalem, Holy Land. For more information about Terra Santa News and the Christian Media Center, please check out our website at the bottom of the screen. You'll also be able to subscribe to our newsletter, to view live video feeds from the Holy Land, as well as visit our Facebook and YouTube pages and follow our Twitter feed. Come visit the website of Terra Santa News.